Do you think that the way for you to find what you like was easy, right? It was always clear, right?
Yeah, it was. I mean, in a workshop, since I'm like 3 years old, I'm happy with tools in my hands, and I've always been like this, always. Actually, I can tell you there's hardly an improvement. Sometimes I think that there's hardly an improvement in the way I am professional, like since I was 3 years old. I tell you the truth that I'm thinking that. And I think I'm not the only one who thinks that. Maybe it's even also for a musician like that. Of course you learn, can't be the same level, but maybe in your heart, in your self, it's the same.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Because you have the same attitude in a way.
It is a very interesting point that the attitude or the way you look at it doesn't change.
No, it doesn't change. No. It's not. Of course, you know more. You have more information, so you have more possibilities to judge. But what it is about your own, the way, if you have a watch that is broken, I don't say a watch but a clock, and I at least, and maybe you not, but you start looking why it doesn't work. I think maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I never watched a clock before. I would have seen what is the problem, and I know if I see it that it is not working. That I know if I look at it, I know what is the problem. I mean, but I knew that also when I was 3 years old. I knew that, and so that's like something, instinct, natural. It's like you feel responsible for certain things. Yeah? In the world, if you're at school, for example, and you meet your friends, and you try to fix your motorcycle, like the motor pads for if you're a kid, you start with motorcycles. Yeah, you understand that. Many people don't do anything, and then you feel, but maybe you can do it like this. It comes up. You automatically gets into this thing that you're the guy that will fix the problem.
How did you feel when you were a child about watching your father or doing things with him?
I was. Looking really, I think automatically, like how you do things. And I never really was wondering why I was looking. I mean, there's no question. I was just looking what he was doing, and I felt it was occupying my time. It was like, and I was helping as soon as I could as well. I remember my father had a little workshop, very little. It was like in the cellar, where you keep maybe the wine or stuff that needs to be. I think every house at that time they made it a little cellar, so it was not big. And he made a little workshop in there, but it was closed with a key. But there was a little window which was going to the garden. And I broke in there and made myself things. When I was like 3 years old. Instead of maybe studying, still, I do things by instinct. I need to think, and also today I watch Google and YouTube and everything. But even that I do by instinct. When I was at school, I didn't even know the word design. So let's say I didn't know there was like something like model making for design, like prototypes.
because you are very intuitive, right? Or go with the instinct. Does it mean, like, in terms of books or things, knowledge from the outside, where do they sit in your life?
That's a good question. I think quite far. Yeah, quite far. But I think also, actually, I'm teaching now at the school. I start teaching in a school where like kids from 18 years old, like a 3-year design course. It's a new school in Milano. And I realized that it is difficult for me to communicate what I think is important to learn, because I think I know what is important, but it's difficult to put it in forms of books, you know, to give them material to study. It's for me almost impossible. But there are like a few things, for example, that where I know it's the only way you can learn from a book. Because I've learned those from a book. A teacher that tells you, but with the picture of a book, you know, you need, for example, cutting tools. Like all the cutting tools you need in life, like almost everyone, from wood or metal, or maybe not from diamonds, that's a different story, but for books, and for maybe even the how you call it, the pala that the guy to make a hole in the ground needs. If you want to learn those, and I think it's very important, because every tool works in the same way. Every tool. So if you know those little maybe there are 3 pictures and 2 pages. If you know those, you know so much about the rest of your life as a model maker or as a craftsman. I tell you one thing, you don't need always experience. I think that experience sometimes is even not good. Sometimes it's good to do something for the first time. I think in our job, you need to be specialized to have no experience. I think that's even better, and have no experience. Because you put more attention to figure out. Because you cannot learn theoretically all the things you are going to meet in life, you know. So it's better if you are able to generate information in a very short moment. And today with Google, of course, became so much easier. But when we didn't have computers, still we are like that. So that means imagine. You have to develop imagination. And I think that's more important than have already somehow the information, but not completely right, and so you don't get the best out of it. And you don't get to new ideas, you don't get to know new possibilities. So sometimes I think that experience and also maybe too much information is not even helpful. You can do without, you can trust your own adventure in a way. I mean, it is actually most of the time is an adventure. You know you're going to finish, but you don't know how and you don't know when sometimes. Yeah, sometimes you know when, because it's almost, time sometimes is the most important inspiration, because, I mean, the lack of time. I do this job because, like, many times it happens that, that somehow I would have said, well, if somebody comes to you, even if you don't like the job he brings you to do, or you don't even like the person who is bringing you the job, then still it can be that you feel like you need to make that. You say, okay, I have to do it. You can understand that somebody comes to you, you don't like the guy, and then also his project is, you don't like it, but somehow you think he needs it. And that is enough for me to say, okay, then you have to do it. It's like if you go to the hospital, you don't say, oh, I don't like broken legs, so go to another place, No, you don't say that. I think it's the same. It's maybe, how can you say that? It's, yeah, it's like a professional
Integrity?
yeah, but also like, you know, a doctor can he say no? No, he can't. No, he should say yes. If you look only at the result, for me that's not so important, the result. It's the way that you, of course, it's like that almost, I would say. It's to get to the result, the way you get to the result. That is, you know, if I speak with colleagues, then the first question we do, okay, how did you do this? And you go to a certain point, you look at the thing, oh, how did you do this? That's the first thing. It's not like, oh, what great, if you do this, unbelievable. No, it's not like that. We don't. And also I noticed that my colleagues don't. No, you maybe you want to know how certain things are done. That's the only thing you care for, not for the. I have to understand the object. I have to understand why we have to make this object also. There must be some reason why I should start making it. Yeah. But that's 99% is okay. Yeah? It's not that but somehow it's like that. It's kind of, I call it inspiration for myself. Yeah.
So inspiration means why we are making it.
Yeah.